Hopefully you can all hear me. Yeah, my name's Nick Brown. I work at SAP, and my focus is on our mobile application strategy and then market development. So how do we develop the mobile market with our customers? And I guess what I want to talk to you this morning about is, what are we seeing from our enterprise customers? What is happening in the industry? What are the dynamics that are making mobile a very fast paced reality for our customers? And kind of walk through that dialogue with you. And then my counterparts will talk about industry-specific solutions that are out there, as well as how analytics is playing a big role. So one thing to start with is mobility is not something that's going to happen in the future. It's really happening right now. If you look at the trends in the charts here, you can see that mobile devices and tablets are outpacing the PC and the desktop market very rapidly. And so it's something that's prevalent throughout the market and throughout our customers. When we talk to our enterprise companies, they're really focusing now on doing something with mobility. 45% of the companies that we work with will be implementing or are implementing mobile solutions in this year. And 58% of those companies that we talk to will be looking to support not just one mobile platform, but multiple, up to 4 mobile platforms across their enterprise. Mobile commerce is playing a big role, right? If you take what happened with internet commerce, and then you think about how mobile commerce is more dynamic and even more important because it's something that you always have on, right? When you're out in business, when you're out moving around in your daily lives, people tend to have 1, if not 2, mobile devices assigned to them. And so mobile commerce is going to become very, very relevant. And you look at these numbers, 74% in the United States of retailers plan to do some m-commerce solutions during this year. And by 2015, probably $119 billion will be transacted via mobile commerce. And I think as we look at these statistics and we talk to our customers, many of them bring this comparison up, which is why I put it in, because they talk about this. If you look at how the internet changed these two companies, right? Blockbuster versus Netflix as a medium and as a way to drive your business. Many of them don't want to become blockbusters as they look at mobility. Not everybody has the case study in how to make your products more relevant for consumers like Apple does, right? How they've taken a mobile device that typically the day after you unboxed your feature phone in the past, right, was the day that the marginal value of that device started to diminish for you. But now when you get the iPhone, right, all of a sudden, your marginal value on that product rises actually after purchase because there's an app for this and there's an app for that. There's always something new that you can get and interact with on that device. And Apple was able to take that value and monetize that directly with their consumers. And I think many of our customers are looking at how can I get into this business and make sure that I'm a mobile business and I'm able to either create a monetization channel with my end consumers or look to at least understand how I can interact with my consumers, learn from them, adjust my products, and create a new kind of intimacy, if you will, with my end consumers. So looking at some of the trends, again, just some more data from lessons learned talking to CIOs. So we had some CIO forums around Sapphire last week in Orlando, Florida. And this is, some of the key trends they're seeing. There are, 10 billion Apple App Store downloads, plus more than that, right, of applications that people are downloading onto their devices. If you look at that, there's over 275,000 applications available today. Now, the hit rate is not significantly great, right? If you, walk around and talk to folks who have Apple tablets, iPads or iPhones, and ask them how many apps they actually have on their device that they use, right? The hit rate from 275,000 available apps to the 10 or dozens that people use is not high. And in the enterprise, we can't afford to build applications from our customers' perspective that their users don't use, right? So they're really looking to make sure they have a higher hit rate and success factor than that. But the good news is, there are ways that this abundance of applications can help you in the enterprise, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Lots of tablets. So tablets are explosive, both in the Android space, BlackBerry's new Playbook, and clearly the iPad are driving really new innovative applications that we can demonstrate for you later today in this space, right? New interactivity models, especially around analytics, that are driving a lot of interesting business opportunities and new models into the industry. There's this shift to the consumerization of IT, so we can talk through what does that mean. That means people are bringing their devices in, they're bringing their mobile experiences in as a consumer, and they're making an impact on business and how businesses and enterprises need to adapt and adjust and deliver consumer-grade applications for their users. And one of the most significant lessons that our customers repeat to us is really you cannot underestimate the ability to manage and secure all these mobile devices that your employees want to use, that you want to deploy applications on. And it can become very complex for enterprise customers. I know some customers I've talked to have over 230 mobile applications that are being deployed throughout their enterprise today, right? And they are just barely able to kind of grapple with managing and securing that data and that corporate information. And typically a lot of these projects are done with the highest levels of their organization who have some of the most critical data that you want to secure and make sure is safe. So talking about the consumerization of IT, I think one is interesting in that if you think back to when you wanted your employees to have remote access to your corporation, a lot of times IT would pay for an extra phone line or a way for you to then connect and VPN into the organization. In these days, it's, at least in the US, let's say, it's assumed that every household has internet connectivity and therefore IT doesn't need to pay for that anymore. And now we're starting to see the same thing happen with mobile devices and mobile plans, that everybody has a mobile device. Typically, they don't want to carry around 3 or 4 mobile devices, right? A little bulky at times. And so we're seeing that happens. So there's definitely this new almost audience for IT to service, which are people who they would not normally procure a mobile device for or a mobile data plan for, but who have those. And therefore, because they have them, they can leverage that opportunity to create efficiencies in the organization for both the employee, right, who may work on the shop floor and has an iPhone, right, as well as for IT and the reduced infrastructure, the reduced printing costs. A lot of value can be generated from targeting this new audience. So that's kind of one aspect. I'm bringing my device in. How do I secure that device? It's a personal device. Make sure corporate data and personal data are separated in those ways. The second, I think, more interesting one is this type of dialogue where, your consumer now as an IT professional is an employee who's using consumer-grade applications. And so they come in and have a dialogue for the first time with you telling IT, this is what I want, right? I use this at home, right? So, I want to be able to manage, my territory or manage the productivity of my sales team just like I manage, my household or my home finances. Right? And so IT's questions are like, how do we deliver, a mobile strategy that allows us to create consumer-grade applications? Because now the users are telling you exactly what they want. So if you deliver what they ask for, you have a higher propensity of success in having your applications used. Another one would be, we're losing sales. How can we enable m-commerce? And IT might be wondering, well, can I provide these applications? Is there something available? Is there a hosted solution, some way to get there quickly? Because we have to adapt to this new business model. And then maybe another one is looking at things like retail execution. How can I use the power of these devices to change the way we look at data, to get unstructured, interesting data about my competitors and how they're retailing, how they're executing in store, right? So I'm a CP company. I'm selling products through retailers. I want to make sure that my products are positioned well, that my planograms are being followed. and that my competitors, I understand what they're doing, and I can take actions to combat and go after those competitors. But for IT, it's kind of a balancing act, right? You have all this demand coming in now. I want this device, an iPad. I want 16 different flavors of Android supported in the enterprise. I want my BlackBerry Mail and applications on the BlackBerry devices. I want these things to be easy to use. I want to pick any device I want. This is the demands that are coming in from the executives and from the employees within these corporations as they look at what is the demand for their solutions. And ultimately, I want something that I can deploy to my consumers. So help me reach out to my consumers via mobile and take advantage of that channel. At the same time, for IT's perspective, they're very concerned about security, right? Many CIOs in an architectural forum I was at just prior to Sapphire, we talked to 20 global CIOs, and I was very surprised actually that they are limiting the devices you can bring and use to just two, right? Which is BlackBerry and iPhone today, right? In about 50% of those 20 folks kind of had that policy in place. Others were more embracing for a variety of reasons, but it's interesting to see that dynamic. But I think the demand will soon force their hand to come up with ways to be able to accommodate more platforms than the two that they're currently looking at. So anyways, you have these enterprise requirements, and you have to balance those against the user requirements and the success that you can drive with mobility. So as we talk to these companies and in these forums, it's very interesting that one thing that we're starting to see a trend around is a mobility platform. Be that a hosted platform that they can leverage in the cloud that's convenient and they can get started with, or something that they want to deploy across their entire enterprise. It just kind of depends on the situation that the customer's in. But they definitely have a need to have a mobility platform that lets them, build and reliably deploy multiple applications from various back-end systems that they may need to connect to, as well as then take that application and then deploy it across 3 or 4 different mobile platforms in their customer base. One of the number one demands from our customers has been applications. So they're looking for prepackaged applications. I think over the last 10 to 12 years in our experience with enterprise customers around applications, which has typically been very heavyweight apps like direct store delivery for CP companies, mobile asset management in the field for managing complex assets, CRM, sales and service, these types of applications have been things that we've done with our customers in the past and looked at. But today, companies are looking for simpler apps, right? How can I get started, with applications for my employees? I know my traditional mobile applications are rich, but help me get started. Help me find these packaged apps, because that's kind of now the expectation from the consumer side that, hey, there's an app. There must be apps for IT to now purchase and deploy. So looking to definitely get a hold of applications versus build their own in all cases. And then finally, really looking around these things like what's happening around services and mobility, right? So m-commerce, NFC capabilities, mobile wallets and payment systems. How can I leverage these services that are becoming available and becoming kind of ubiquitous in the market as retailers, banks, telecommunications companies all start to create infrastructures and capabilities around making this possible? So really our customers are looking to stratify across these 3 layers and then build solutions across all of their different mobile users. So maybe just talk now in detail about some of the experiences we have with enterprise customers and kind of what are they looking to do in the enterprise. So if I start on kind of the left side here and kind of go down the bottom here, really, starting with your suppliers, warehouse management. If you're a manufacturing company, maybe you need plant maintenance type capabilities. So make sure that your high value assets, are operating and working, and your manufacturing systems are always online and producing the products that you need to produce. And using mobility is important there. You kind of have your traditional mobile road warriors, right? Field sales, field service, people that are out in the field working with customers, working with your products and driving value for your company. You definitely need to have mobile solutions to service those folks.